Well, good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope everybody's having a great day. It is Monday, this fall morning. It is a chill in the air. It is a real chill in the air, and this really does feel like football. So we've got week 7 almost in the books. Tonight we've got Minnesota in prime time with Kirk Cousins versus the San Francisco 49ers. I'm actually here. I got to do a little work here at the church, and maybe I should pray about the Cowboy season. But be that as it may, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Now, I am not going to say that the Eagles did not play a great game yesterday. They actually really did. You know, they ended up beating Miami, and Miami just couldn't beat the Eagles as well as the referees. This is where, I'm sorry, you're telling me that there was not a single penalty called on the Eagles? Or when it was always offsetting? I'm not going to say that Miami did not have penalties, but they were not called the same. The bottom line is this: if you're going to call the game tight and call everything, you got to call it on both sides, because they were some bullshit non-calls yesterday. That third down call where there was no call. This one play, I don't know how an official, there are two guys right there, okay? Two guys. The guy literally gets his face mask pulled and his head turned. Face mask pulled, head turned. How is that not pass interference? How is that not face mask? How is that not at least hands to the face? Could have been any of 3 calls. You are literally telling me when the ball is coming to him that his head gets turned because of the contact, and there's a no call? There's no call. You're going to tell me that the guy, and see, this is what's crazy. He reached, his arm is extended, grabs the face mask, pulls the head, and there's no call. As you see on my thumbnail here, you see how many times there were holds? Do you see how many times that there are blatant holds? Now, you know, you could call holding, I get it, you could call holding on every single play. And sometimes it is inadvertent, okay? Back in my day when we played football, here's where it was different. And we used to wear hand pads like boxing gloves, because what you had to do was you could not have an open palm. My senior year of high school was when the pros ended up saying you could use an open palm. Before that, you had to basically make a fist, and you had to keep your fist within your shoulders. If your arm went around them, that's a hold. But they changed it so you could use the palm of your hand, which ended up saving knuckles, and also literally got rid of hand pads. We used to, Lord knows, we had hand pads, forearm pads, elbow pads, because you were literally battling. Every block was with your arm, okay? Now you got your hands, you tape up your hands, and you're saving your elbows, you're saving your forearms, you're saving your knuckles. Thing is, I get it. Sometimes the guy's coming head on, and you know, your hands slip outside the shoulder pads and stuff, okay? And you could say that could be holding, it's questionable. But when you have a guy's arm, forearm lock in a sleeper hold, and the guy is running upfield and you're behind him hanging on for dear life, that is truly a hold that should be called. They weren't being called yesterday. They weren't being called. Now, again, Miami, they made some egregious mistakes. I mean, their hands were in the neutral zone several times. I mean, it's blatant, and they should be called on those things. But the amount of calls that the Eagles got versus Miami getting none. There were some late hits there on Tua that you look at and say, that could be called. And this is where I don't know what the answer is with the officiating, but I think about how if we had lost the game, we could point back to the Jalen Tolbert literally lifted up off the ground with the hands to the face and thrown into the kicker that resulted in a turnover and an easy touchdown because they got the ball on the 20-yard line. Now, I don't know how you miss that. I don't know how you miss a guy literally being lifted up by his face mask and thrown into the returner who's trying to get a fair catch. But these things make the difference in games. And sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. And this is where the Cowboys, we don't ever get the benefit of the doubt. The amount of calls we had going against us, against the Chargers, is freaking ridiculous. So all I say is, at least be consistent to both sides. Now, I worry that between the calls that come from New York, I'll get you just a second, Brian. The calls that come from New York where they say review, when you see something blatantly wrong like that, and you're saying we're going to ignore it, even though you've got the people in New York, come on. That's some bullshit. That's some bullshit. I'm sorry. You can literally see that there are game-changing missed calls that are out there that should be called erroneous. But, what can you do? You got to play with inside the rules. We just hope that the referees do as well. The problem for me is knowing that the NFL is in bed with gambling. When you think about point spreads, it may not change the outcome of the game. The team that should win. But when you're talking about the difference of making the points versus not making the points, being millions of dollars of swings, you have to wonder sometimes, are these things kind of being shaded one way or the other? I hope not. But you do have to worry about that. So Eagles, congratulations, guys. You got the calls. You got the plays. You got a good team. I don't think you guys need any extra help from the officials, but you certainly do get it. I wish we could get some help from time to time from the officials because we don't ever get those breaks. So I hope everybody has a great day. Depending on how long it takes me to do this job here at the church and get back to the man cave from the workshop to do a little work, I might go back down to Waynesboro. I know one thing. I need a jacket. It's cold out here. It feels like fall. See you guys later. Peace.